Hello students, myself Kumar Ujjwal, faculty of PSIR in optional plus in general studies I do teach polity and I have been teaching for last 20 years, and this class in Zohar Edu campus is meant for JPSC prelims, so we are exclusively focusing on that. तो हमने पिछले क्लास में क्या किया ये एक बार रिव्यू करना ज़रूरी है। ये जो था लास्ट पार्ट हमने किया था 22 पार्ट्स, तो इसके बीच में ही है 4A एंड 14A, इसके बीच में ही है 9A 9B, इसके बीच में ही है 9B भी। तो इस तरीके से जब 25 पार्ट्स टोटल हैं, तो दिस इज़ द लास्ट पार्ट 22 पार्ट। हमने लास्ट क्लास में जो किया था इसमें किया था शॉर्ट टाइटल्स, डेट ऑफ कमेंसमेंट एंड टर्मिनेशन। तो ये था पार्ट 22। ये था टेम्पोररी, ट्रांजिएंट एंड स्पेशल प्रोविजंस फॉर सर्टेन स्टेट्स। ये है 21 में, पीछे से चल के देखते हैं। और फिर 20 में है पावर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट टू अमेंड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। पहले इसका नाम था कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट, लेकिन 24th और 25th अमेंडमेंट 1971 से इट वॉज रीनेम्ड एज पावर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट टू अमेंड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अंडर आर्टिकल 368। इससे पहले है पार्ट 19 जो मिसलेनियस प्रोविजंस है 361 to 367। इससे पहले इमरजेंसी प्रोविजंस है पार्ट 18 में, जो कि जर्मन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से इंस्पायर्ड है 352 to 360। इससे पहले है ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज 343 to 351। और फिर इससे पहले हम लोगों ने देखा जो पार्ट 16 में है वीकर सेक्शंस, जिसमें SC, ST, OBC, EWS वीकर सेक्शंस का उल्लेख है। इसके पहले पार्ट 15 इलेक्शंस, जिसमें इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया है और जिसमें प्रोविजंस ऑफ इलेक्शन है। इसको हम रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल्स एक्ट के साथ मिलकर पढ़ेंगे। इसमें भी कुछ कोर्ट केसेस हैं जिनको जानना जरूरी है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन का डिसीजन कैसे होता है, कब तक ये सिंगल मेंबर बॉडी था, कब इसको मल्टी मेंबर बॉडी बनाया गया, कौन कौन से इलेक्टोरल रिफॉर्म्स जो हैं रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल्स एक्ट के द्वारा हुए। इसके पहले ट्रिब्यूनल्स ये जोड़ा गया था 42nd अमेंडमेंट से 4A एंड 14A। तो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ट्रिब्यूनल 323A, अदर ट्रिब्यूनल 323B। सर्विसेज यानी कि ब्यूरोक्रेसी, सिविल सर्विसेज एट द यूनियन एंड स्टेट लेवल, ये 308 to 323 सर्विसेज पार्ट 14 में। पार्ट 13 में था ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स, पार्ट 12 में यूनियन स्टेट फाइनेंस रिलेशनशिप, पार्ट 11 में यूनियन स्टेट रिलेशनशिप जिसमें लेजिस्लेटिव, एग्जीक्यूटिव और एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिलेशनशिप है। इसके पहले पार्ट 10 में शेड्यूल्ड एरियाज, एरिया अप्रोच ST के लिए फॉलो किया जाता है। इसमें भी दो तरह के शेड्यूल्स हैं, शेड्यूल 5 एंड शेड्यूल 6। ये शेड्यूल 5 में है। शेड्यूल 5 में there is tribal advisory council. In schedule 6 there are district council or regional councils. Then part 9 और 9A जो है पंचायती राज और नगर राज इंस्टीट्यूशंस है। इसमें पार्ट 9B जो जोड़ा गया था वो जोड़ा गया था 97th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट 2012 से। इसको कहते हैं कोऑपरेटिव्स, इंटर स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव्स, बिकॉज कोऑपरेटिव्स विद इन द स्टेट इज अंडर स्टेट जुरिडिक्शन। और मोदी गवर्नमेंट टुक इनिशिएटिव टू क्रिएट ए न्यू मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कोऑपरेशन और कोऑपरेटिव्स इन 2021। और इसके पहले यूनियन टेरिटरीज पार्ट 8 में। फिर पार्ट 7 और 9 तो ब्लैंक हो गया था, तो 6, 7 इज नॉट देयर एंड 6 इज स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, 5 इज यूनियन गवर्नमेंट एंड 4A is fundamental duties of citizens, 4 is DPSP, part 3 is fundamental rights, part 2 is citizenship and part 1 is unionist territory। तो अभी तक हम लोगों ने सारे 25 पार्ट्स मैक्रो लेवल पे देख लिया कि किस पार्ट का क्या नाम है एंड किन किन पार्ट्स में क्या क्या सब्जेक्ट्स जो है मेंशन्ड हैं, और ये मैक्रो लेवल व्यू हो गया। अब जो है हम लोग ये देखेंगे कि हाउ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वॉज फ्रेम एंड इसका डिटेलिंग अब देखेंगे। तो हमारी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली 389 मेंबर कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली वाज देयर। द फर्स्ट मीट ऑफ इट वाज ऑन 9 December 1946 It was presided over by Sachidanand Prasad, and on 11 December Dr. Rajendra Prasad became the elected chairman of Constituent Assembly. तो Constituent Assembly बना कैसे था? The Constituent Assembly was formed based on recommendation of Cabinet Mission Plan. Cabinet Mission Plan came in March 1946 with 3 members of British Cabinet, namely Lawrence, Alexander and Cripps, and 389 member Constituent Assembly was formed. However, after communal partition, 299 members of Indian Constituent Assembly framed Indian Constitution, while 90 members of Pakistani Constituent Assembly framed Pakistani Constitution. इस 299 में 229 were from states, British Union states, and 70 were from princely states. At the eve of independence, there were almost 565 princely states. Some were as big as Hyderabad, Junagadh, Jammu and Kashmir, and Rajputanas, Jodhpur, Bhopal, and some were as small as a small village. So this is how Constituent Assembly, thanks to the Sardar Patel, the Iron Man of India, who played decisive role in integration of princely states. तो ये Constituent Assembly का जो रोल है वो to frame Indian Constitution, and as you know that the total time period it took was 2 years, 11 months and 18 days, almost 3 years लग गया Constitution बनाने में. Total number of parts 22 originally, now 25. Schedules were 8, now 12. Articles were 395, now it is more than 468. So with the passage of time, there are more than 100 amendments. To be very precise, last amendment was 105th amendment. तो पिछले 75 सालों में 100 से ज़्यादा amendment, जबकि in America in last 300 years less than 50 amendments are there. So we are not truly federal like America. In truly federal polity, the amendment procedure is quite complex and rigid, while in unitary polity, by simple majority, Parliament can amend any law, as it is there in England. In England, there is nothing like 2/3 majority or 3/4 majority or requirement of approval of the states. But in India, it is partly federal, partly unitary. So federal mass law में not only 2/3 majority is required, but approval by half of the state legislature is required. In case of fundamental rights, fundamental duties, DPSP, 2/3 majority is required. While in many other cases like citizenship, states reorganization, Article 169, Schedule 5, Schedule 6, official language, provisions relating to Parliament, उसमें simple majority of both houses of Parliament is required. तो हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के क्या क्या फीचर्स हैं? हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के फीचर्स वी हैव टू नो ब्रॉडली, वी हैव टू नो द all schedules, and then we will go part by part. We have to know the preamble also, and first of all, the two very very important things which explain our polity is parliamentary federalism. अगर एक लाइन में इंडियन पॉलिटी को कहना है तो कहेंगे पार्लियामेंट्री फेडरलिज्म. क्यों? क्योंकि देयर इज ए पार्लियामेंट्री फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट एट सेंट्रल लेवल, एट स्टेट लेवल, एट लोकल लेवल, एंड देयर इज अ फेडरल पॉलिटी बिटवीन सेंटर एंड स्टेट्स. मैंने पहले भी बताया, सेंटर स्टेट रिलेशनशिप इज फेडरल रिलेशन. देयर इज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डिलिमिटेशन ऑफ पावर्स, बट एज फार एज state local bodies relationship is concerned, it is not same. It is not federal relationship. It is based on delegation, decentralization of powers. So this is the fundamental difference between first two tiers of the government and second and third tier of the government, that you must be knowing. And what are the broad features of our constitution that you must be knowing? कि हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रिटन है कि अनरिटन है, फेडरल है कि यूनिटरी है कि क्वासी फेडरल है. सेक्युलरिज्म है या थियोक्रेसी है, सिंगल सिटीजनशिप है या ड्यूअल सिटीजनशिप है, और राइट्स एंड ड्यूटीज आर मेंशन इन आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन और नॉट, प्लूरल वोटिंग है या यूनिवर्सल एडल्ट फ्रेंचाइज है, पार्लियामेंट्री फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है या प्रेसिडेंशियल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है या सेमी प्रेसिडेंशियल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है. ऑल दीज इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स you must be knowing. So what are the broad or salient features of our constitution that you must be knowing? Salient features of Indian constitution. Features of Indian constitution. So first I write all the features and then I discuss one by one. In that, as I said earlier, the two most important things are one, form of government, that is parliamentary form of government, and second, quasi-federal polity that we have. Our federal feature is borrowed from Canadian constitution, not from US constitution. And why Canada followed quasi-federal polity? ये भी जानना जरूरी है. Because in America there was civil war in 1860 to 1865. Southern states led by Texas wanted to continue with slavery so that the slaves, blacks mostly, remain attached with their land. While northern states which were industrialized, they wanted end of slavery. But thanks to the great president, Republican president Abraham Lincoln, during his reign the civil war ended. So that civil war frightened the neighboring Canada. And neighboring Canada followed strong center to maintain national unity and territorial integrity. This is the reason why Canada followed quasi-federal polity or federal polity with unitary biasness. India's condition was similar. In India also you will find communal riots, civil war-like situation, communal partition, linguistic issue, the issue of princely states. Post-independence consolidation was quite a stupendous task, and to ensure all those nation building process, a strong center was needed and that was provided as well. तो हम लोग देखते हैं क्या क्या फीचर्स हैं हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के. तो पहला कॉमन सिटीजनशिप और सिंगल सिटीजनशिप. कॉमन सिटीजनशिप और सिंगल सिटीजनशिप means citizenship is what? It involves legal relationship between individual and the state. In that legal relationship, the citizens have to perform more duties, like to render national service when asked upon, to do fundamental duties of citizens, and in turn they avail more rights as well. Political rights are exclusive to citizens. So this is what citizenship is. But in truly federal polity like America, there is dual citizenship. One allegiance is towards central government, another level of allegiance is towards state government. So there is dual allegiance. But in unitary polity like England, like India, we have single citizenship. That is only center to make laws in relation to citizenship. Center means parliament, parliament means central legislature, only to make laws in relation to citizenship. States have no role in amending the laws of citizenship. So this is common citizenship. Then unitary cum federal. Unitary cum federal. We are neither unitary like England, France or Japan. We are nor federal like America or Nigeria. Our federal polity is inspired from Canadian Constitution. We have federal features with unitary biasness. So we will see what is federal and what are the unitary features that is there in our polity. Then missionaries of all religions equally promoted. Missionaries of all religions equally promoted. That is equal respect for all religions. That is secularism. we do follow secularism and we do have our own secular model which is different from that of America and that of France. Sarvadharm Sambhav. So missionaries of all religions equally promoted. Then autonomous and independent bodies are there in our constitution, like judiciary is independent, CAG is independent, UPSC is independent, election commission is independent. So we do have independent and autonomous bodies as well, like GST council is autonomous, like finance commission is autonomous. So we do have all the kinds of bodies, thematic bodies, specialized bodies for certain purposes. तो सिंगल सिटीजनशिप भी, यूनिटी कम फेडरल है, मिशनरीज ऑफ ऑल रिलीजन्स इक्वली प्रोमोटेड. इसके बाद राइट्स एंड ड्यूटीज़ हैं. राइट्स एंड ड्यूटीज़ आर, देयर आर मेनी राइट्स बट ऑल राइट्स कैनॉट बी मेंशन्ड इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, बट द मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट राइट्स, namely fundamental rights which are primarily individual rights against state, they are there in part 3, while community rights to be enabled by the state is there in part 4 of the Indian Constitution. So we do have rights on one hand and duties on the other. Let me tell you that there are other rights also in other parts of the Constitution besides part 3 and part 4. For example, right to property is under 300A. For example, right to vote under Article 326. So we have so many rights which are provided in our Constitution. Then universal adult franchise, that is bedrock principle of democracy. Adult franchise, universal adult franchise with parliamentary form of government, with parliamentary form of government, that is one person, one vote, one value, political equality of all citizens. And we do have parliamentary form of government in, like England. America is having presidential form of government, while France, Sri Lanka, South American countries and many Central Asian republics, including Central republics or erstwhile countries of Soviet Union, including Russia, is having semi-presidential form of government with a very strong executive. So that forms of government are different, but we do have parliamentary form of government. And then judicial independence. Judicial independence is must for ensuring rule of law, to ensuring supremacy of constitution, to ensure that there is delivery of justice without fear or favor, to ensure that there is impartial interpretation of constitution without fear or favor. Then justice, in preamble, social, economic and political justice are being mentioned. They are clearly mentioned. So justice involves, as I have discussed in basic ABCD classes, social, economic and political, that justice involves balancing the claims of individual liberty, individual freedom, with socio-economic equality, with fairness, with unbiasedness, with impartiality, with balance, without any prejudices. So justice is a multi-dimensional concept. It's a value-laden concept. It's a subjective concept, but it's very, very important. And this is the reason why we do have not only social, economic and political justice as explicitly mentioned in our preamble, we do have distributive justice. That is distribution of public goods based on needs, ability and capacity. More needy to get more on humanitarian ground, and more able to get more to promote those individual excellence which promote social good or common good. तो नीड भी देखना है और एबिलिटी को भी देखना है, काबिलियत को भी प्रमोट करना है, और ज़्यादा नीडी है उसको भी देखना है. सो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव जस्टिस इज देयर, करेक्टिव जस्टिस इज ऑल्सो देयर, although not mentioned in preamble explicitly, but that is very much implied in our constitution. अगर कुछ भी नाइंसाफ़ी होती है कुछ भी गलत होता है, इनवॉलंटरी एंड इनवॉलंटरी एक्सचेंजेस, सो विक्टिम मस्ट बी कंपनसेटेड in proportion to the loss and aggressor or offender must be punished in proportion to the offense. For that we do have professional judiciary, and this is how justice is ensured. Then we have written constitution. As you know that first written constitution in modern period was of American Constitution. English Constitution is not written. Let me clarify about this thing, that many people say that England is having no constitution, or in England all governance is based on conventions only. It is not correct. Every written constitution has unwritten part, and every unwritten constitution has written part. So in England there are conventions, no doubt, but at the same time all laws of the parliament are duly recorded, and this is to ensure rule of law. And the more prioritized set of laws are not separately listed as a constitution. There is rule of law in England, there is a constitution in England. In contrast, in India, in America, the more prioritized laws are written in supreme law, constitution. The other laws are also there, British statutory law. I discussed the hierarchy of laws at the very onset. So written constitution, then apatkal provisions or emergency provisions. I just discussed in all parts of the constitution that part 18, 352 to 360 is emergency provision, national emergency based on war, external aggression or armed rebellion under Article 352. President's rule in a state in wake of breakdown of constitutional machinery in a state in Article 356, and financial emergency is mentioned in Article 360. So our constitution is prepared for such exigency, for such extraordinary situation, and emergency provisions are considered to have unitary tilt, and local bodies being given constitutional status. Local bodies were existing from time immemorial, but they were given constitutional status only by 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment 1992, but its culmination was there in 73rd and 74th amendment, but further there were attempts to strengthen them. For example, PESA, Panchayat Extension in Scheduled Areas, 1996 PESA Act, then Gram Nyaya Act 2008, then more awareness, more financial devolution of powers are being done to ensure grassroots democracy, to ensure participative democracy. So this is how, these are the broad features of our constitution, salient features of our constitution, and all other features which are implied will be coming in the related points as well. For example, one can write, we do have blend of rigidity and flexibility in amendment. So that comes under quasi-federal polity. If one says limited separation of powers, that comes in parliamentary form of government. If one says that interdependence of executive and legislature, that also comes in parliamentary form of government. Collective responsibility, that also comes in parliamentary form of government. So first we will discuss from that, this itself you can recall all the features of Indian Constitution. तो हम लोगों ने all 25 पार्ट्स देखा, अब सैलिएंट फीचर्स देख रहे हैं. तो पहला सिंगल सिटीजनशिप है, कॉमन सिटीजनशिप है. इन यूनिटरी पॉलिटी देयर इज कॉमन सिटीजनशिप, देयर सिंगल सिटीजनशिप. इन अमेरिका there is dual citizenship because that is truly federal polity, one towards center, one towards state. That is, one is citizen of America, citizen of Florida, citizen of America, citizen of Oklahoma, citizen of America, citizen of Ohio. citizen of America, citizen of California, and so on. But in India, in England, one is only citizen of the country and center only to make laws relating to citizenship. So the polity that is followed in India is quasi-federal, neither federal like US nor unitary like England. So we need to know what is federal polity, what is unitary polity, why India followed quasi-federal polity, why India is having federal features with unitary biasness. So first, I distinguish and contrast between federal polity on one hand and unitary polity on the other. Unitary polity on the other. As the literal meaning suggests, federal polity is derived from the root word federus. Federus means shared self-rule. Shared self-rule. Shared self-rule between center and states. While unitary, uni means one, means all powers are vested constitutionally to the central government. So in smaller countries, for administrative convenience, where there is less heterogeneity, where there is more homogeneity, the unitary polity is followed. For example, in United Kingdom, all powers are vested at central government of London. Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, these states are empowered by center, not by constitution. In contrast, in America, Texas, Florida, California, these states are empowered by constitution, the same constitution by which center is empowered. In other words, in federal polity, states are more empowered to accommodate regional aspirations, because in large country the regional aspirations are closer to the state government rather than central government. So unless they have the aspiration of self-rule fulfilled, they will have sense of alienation and deprivation and injustice, and that may lead to secessionist forces or separatist forces. So regional aspirations are better dealt in federal polity. तो कायदे से इंडिया भी डाइवर्स है, इंडिया भी ह्यूज है, इंडिया में फेडरल पॉलिटी होनी चाहिए थी, क्योंकि पूरी तरह से, क्योंकि तमिल एस्पिरेशंस कैन बी बेटर अंडरस्टूड बाय गवर्नमेंट ऑफ चेन्नई रादर देन न्यू दिल्ली. नागा एस्पिरेशन कैन बी बेटर अंडरस्टूड बाय Kohima rather than New Delhi. But in spite of desirability of federal polity, we have a strong unitary biasness. The reason is the situation prevailing at the time of independence. As I mentioned, civil war-like situation, communal riots, communal partition, linguistic issue, separatist forces, princely states, official languages, controversy, risk with democracy, infant state, nascent state. So for maintaining territorial integrity, unity and sovereignty, a strong center was needed. तो फेडरल पॉलिटी में पहली बात तो ये है शेयर्ड सेल्फ रूल, मीन्स कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डिवीजन ऑफ पावर्स बिटवीन सेंटर एंड स्टेट्स. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डिवीजन और डिलिमिटेशन of powers between center and states means states are empowered by the same constitution by which center is empowered. In contrast, in unitary polity, states are empowered by delegation or decentralization by center, not by the constitution. Centralization by center. In other words, in unitary polity, states are empowered at the sweet will of center. In federal polity, states are empowered by the same constitution by which center is empowered. So in India, states are empowered by constitution. This is federal. But in federal polity, truly federal polity, there is dual citizenship. One towards center, one unit of allegiance or loyalty is towards central government, another unit of allegiance is towards state government. लेकिन इंडिया में ये यूनिटरी है, सिंगल सिटीजनशिप, दिस इज द फर्स्ट पॉइंट, और कॉमन सिटीजनशिप, सिंगल सिटीजनशिप और कॉमन सिटीजनशिप, this is the second point in federal polity. Then what are the other provisions which empower states more? In federal polity, indestructible union of indestructible states, destructible states, इसका मतलब ये है कि the names, territories and boundaries of the existing states cannot be changed by center without their concurrent recommendation or without their consent or without their approval. लेकिन यूनिटरी पॉलिटी में है indestructible union of destructible states. तो इंडिया में लेफ्ट है या राइट है? यहां इंडिया में यूनिटरी बायसनेस है. द बेस्ट एग्जांपल इज तेलंगाना. इन 2014 आंध्रा असेंबली सेड नो तेलंगाना, बट सेंटर सेड yes तेलंगाना, and Telangana was carved out from Andhra Pradesh. In USA, which is truly federal polity, the names, territories, boundaries of the existing states cannot be changed without concurrent recommendation or approval of the states. So this is the difference. Fourth, that in America 13 colonies which later became 50 states jointly fought American War of Independence against British imperialism, and it is also called American Revolution or American War of Independence. So after independence, those 13 colonies or states by an agreement formed a federal government or central government to look after common affairs like national security, external affairs, defense, communication and so on. So here center or federal government was formed by an agreement between the states, was formed by an agreement between states. In contrast, here you will find that center was not result of an agreement between the states. Center is either prior to the states or center came into existence on its own, not due to an agreement between the states. So in India, it's not that states as a separate entity fought War of Independence and then joined hands to form a federal government. So in India, this is this. So many unitary features are there and some federal features are there. Then how to empower states more? You think more? Upper house, Rajya Sabha, in America Senate. Here necessarily bicameral legislature, and in federal polity upper house represent states,